Talk about transforming space debris into a valuable space commodity for space manufacturing. I present to you Gary Calnan.
Okay. Great, thank you. Thank you for that introduction. Hello, everyone. My name is Gary Calnan. As you just heard, I'm the co-founder and CEO of CisLunar Industries. And today, I'm excited to tell you about how we intend to transform space debris into a valuable commodity. We believe that the human economy is on the cusp of finally breaking out of LEO and GEO and moving on to the CisLunar sphere and Mars and beyond. And you know, with the growth in the number of entrepreneurial space endeavors that we've seen, we see that there's a true acceleration in this area, right? And we think that the industrialization of CisLunar space is one of the next things that's going to happen. It's just around the corner. And that's why I'm super excited to be here talking to you guys today, because as with all of this stuff, we know that we can't do this by ourselves. It's going to take a whole community of companies. So last time we went to the moon, we brought everything with us from Earth, and we left nothing behind to support a sustained presence there. And you know, if we want to go out into the solar system on a permanent basis, we obviously have to learn how to live off the land, right? So you know, we think that one of the first industries that needs to develop in this new phase is space resources. And it's the only way that this thing is going to be sustainable. So to take advantage of this, and the good thing is, right now, we were seeing a lot of great companies working on this across the value chain of space resources. You've got companies working on prospecting and extraction and robotics from one side. You've got companies working on manufacturing and utilization on the other side. And you've even got companies working on processing water into rocket fuel for storage in depots. But we didn't see anybody really spending a focus on processing industrial metals in space, structural materials. And that's where we think we can come in. And so we looked at the environment and we said, well, why don't we use something that's not being targeted right now? It's going to take a while to get the asteroid material into the area. It's going to take a while to get lunar material in. But what about space debris? And so we see space debris as a very valuable resource that cannot be overlooked. You know, we know where it is roughly. We know what it's made of. We know who owns it. And we know that there are a number of uses for building large structures in space if we can just do it up there. And lastly, in order to have a true industrialization of the CisLunar economy, we know that processing technology is going to be a key component of that value chain. And so to exploit this opportunity, our company is building or developing what we're calling the Space Foundry. And we're going to focus on the processing piece. And the idea here is that it will be designed to recycle space debris into refined metals for use in manufacturing. And we have two basic ideas behind this that we want to pursue. One is to create a consistent supply of materials for in-space manufacturing. And the other is we want to be the first company to learn how to process metals in space on an industrial scale in the space environment, and then take that knowledge and apply it to other markets and other materials. And so the idea is that initially we will position our first platform in near geospace, somewhere above the geo ring, but below the graveyard orbit. And then the way it'll work is we'll contract with companies that are developing space tugs. The space tugs will go out, they will acquire the space debris. The debris we will have already negotiated property rights transfer with the people who own it. We'll bring the debris back to the station. It will be broken down, melted down, and converted into the raw materials you need for in-space manufacturing. And then that would be delivered by another tug, and the tug would return from the customer, and the whole thing would start all over again. Now, while our primary purpose is to supply refined materials in orbit for manufacturing, by using space debris as the first resource, we're able to open this market for materials in space, where it wouldn't be done earlier than that. And we're also able to give space debris a valuable purpose, where it was once just a mitigation and remediation problem. Now, at least the big pieces become a valuable resource that we can use. So, obviously this whole weekend I've seen a lot of promising things being discussed, and we're seeing launch costs falling. We've governments and private individuals and companies are all really making a hard push to go back to the moon, and this time for good, right? We think this is driving all this progress in the CisLunar economy. And now it's our belief that the space economy is no longer this field of dreams. For CisLunar Industries, learning how to convert space debris into refined materials is really just our first step. And from this foundation of knowledge, we want to apply this processing technology to the lunar environment, to do manufacturing and production there. We want to apply it to refining asteroid material once it's extracted and brought back into the Earth's sphere. And we want to use it eventually to salvage and reprocess old spaceships, through like an orbital shipyard kind of concept. And so far, we're a relatively young company, as you heard. We only started last August, but we've got our co-founder team in place. We've established our headquarters in Luxembourg at the Paul Worth Incubator. We've got advisors joining the effort. We're forging partnerships, institutional, commercial, and financial. And we've even started some really early prototyping. And so, to round it out, I just would like to ask you all to join us in this endeavor. I mean, if you have a purpose, a use that you can imagine for what you would use a steady supply of refined materials in space for, we want to hear about it. We need to know about these use cases so we can tailor our process to that. If you can help us with logistics, if you have ideas for the space tugs or other methods for logistics, we want to hear about that as well. If you think of other things to fit in this ecosystem that we're trying to build, come talk to us about it. And if you just want to follow along, you can follow us on social media and always find us at CisLunarIndustries.com. And thank you for your attention.